Hello there, I am Jessica with Fantabulosity, and this is a very impromptu video. I didn't even put makeup on for this show. I showered, I knew I was staying at home tonight, and I thought, what's the point? Why waste makeup, right? But I am just kind of throwing something together for dinner, and I thought I'd show you how I make my Alfredo for a quick weeknight dinner, and then also my chicken bites that are a standalone recipe, but tonight I'm gonna combine them for a chicken Alfredo, okay? So first you want to cut up the chicken that you have into bite-sized pieces. I actually only had chicken tenders on hand, so that's what I'm using tonight, but you can use chicken breast if you want. Alrighty, what you want to do is grab a little bit of butter. I would say maybe about 2 tablespoons of butter, and if you have a cast iron pan, use it, because I specifically like to use this pan for this chicken because it gives it this nice seasoned flavor. And so I put my butter in my cast iron and I heat it up pretty good. I mean medium-high heat, because what I want to do is get that butter to a brown, and when I throw the chicken in, I want it to cook quickly and sear the bite-sized pieces. Now while I'm waiting for that, I also have my pan here ready for the Alfredo, and then I have my pot of water here for my noodles. I'm just using the penne noodles that I grabbed at the store the other day, keeping it super simple. I'm also gonna go ahead and start melting my butter for the Alfredo. I normally use a full stick, but I used about 2 tablespoons of it for the chicken tonight, and it's just myself and my 2 little boys eating, so I don't need a whole lot of Alfredo that I would normally make if my husband were here. And I actually don't have a recipe on the blog for Alfredo, so maybe that's coming, I don't know, but I just keep it really simple. I melt the butter, I add some heavy whipping cream, I do a little bit of garlic, and then I do some Parmesan cheese, and I actually use the shredded Parmesan cheese. I have been known to use the grated Parmesan cheese if that's all I have on hand, but the shredded works really nice. And then some salt and pepper. Okay, so my butter is a nice brown, and it's perfect to get ready to throw the chicken into. Now, with my cut up chicken, before I put it in, I like to generously coat it with kosher salt. A lot of the salt comes off in the cast iron, so I never really over salt it, to be honest. And then I put a little on it after I'm done. And I go ahead and sprinkle some pepper on, and that cast iron is hot, so as soon as I throw it on, it's gonna sizzle. And then I want to make sure I spread it out so all the pieces cook as evenly as possible. Now, one of the things you may want to do if you are making an Alfredo pasta, you may want to do the chicken last because it cooks so quickly, but I'm just going to keep it on the side anyway, so it doesn't really matter. My kids will probably come in and nibble on it anyway. So I'm going to let that sit for about 30 seconds. And then once I start seeing the bottoms of the chicken pieces kind of turning color a little bit, maybe pick one up and look and see if it's a nice golden brown yet. And if it is, then I go ahead and get my favorite fish spatula and I flip them all. Now, it would take a lot of work if I did them individually, but when it comes to steak bites that I do like this and chicken, I do kind of do them individually, because just making sure each little piece is turned over, getting that glorious brown butter taste is so key. All right, so I think it's been long enough. I'm gonna grab a bunch, flip it over, and this is where I do little individual turnovers. There is something about brown butter that just gives something so much more flavor too. When I cook this chicken in like a regular pan, the non-stick pan, I don't know what it is, it seems watery, like it's almost like the cast iron soaks in any of the extra liquid, allowing the chicken to really soak in the butter and soak in the flavor of the char and the salt and the pepper. Okay, I think I have most of those flipped. I'm gonna let those cook on high for just another minute or so. And my butter's all melted for the Alfredo. So like I said, I don't really follow a recipe for the Alfredo sauce, so I'm just gonna wing it here. I'm gonna pour some heavy cream in. Just kind of eyeball it, but what the heck. You can have it left over. So this is a 16-ounce bottle of heavy whipping cream. I get my whisk. I prefer a flat whisk, but mine's in storage since we moved to Montana. and I don't know where it's at. I looked for it before we came out, couldn't find it. So my Alfredo, I'm gonna turn it up to medium heat. My water's boiling for my pasta, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in. And I'm gonna check my chicken really quick. You know, it's probably done, but I really want it to get that sear. And some pieces do have the sear that I'm looking for. I don't know if you can see that or not. The light's so bright in here. So I'm gonna leave it on for just a little bit longer. Yeah, it's done. I really want that sear. Okay, so I'm gonna put the chicken in that when that's done. Since my Alfredo, or my heavy cream is in there with my butter, I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic. And I usually do, my kids are not huge fans of garlic, so I'm just gonna do maybe a tablespoon. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the Parmesan cheese. So I have about a half of a container of Parmesan cheese left over from the last time that we had Alfredo. And I'm gonna see if that thickens, okay? So it's on a medium-high heat. I'm gonna come over, give it a little whisk every now and then, kind of check on it, make sure it's not thickened and doing okay. And then I think my chicken is done. So I'm gonna scoop that out. Get all the little bits of brown butter goodness and season. So again, this recipe is on the blog. I have a link to that because it's one of our favorite weeknight dinners because it's so easy. I mean, you saw how easy it was. And you can pair it with anything. You eat it by itself, pair it with some broccoli, some fries for the kids, whatever tickles your fancy. And then it's ready to go. So like I said earlier, I actually do this with sirloin steak, often too, and the kids really like that. So I sprinkle with a little bit more kosher salt, and I let it sit tight. And let that baby cool down, because that is hot. Give my pasta a stir, make sure it's not sticking to the bottom, and then I'm gonna check on my Alfredo. Now I have been known to add some bacon to this Alfredo, but my kids don't like it. What is wrong with them? I mean, it's just so good. Oh, so see that cheese is melting in there. It's looking really good. I'm gonna eyeball it for maybe, I don't know, a couple more minutes and see if it starts to thicken up a little bit more. If it doesn't, I'll add a little more cheese. Honestly, I've never put too much cheese in my Alfredo, so that's not a problem. Okay, she is boiling now, and it seems to be thickening up quite a bit, so that's perfect. So it's no longer stringy, the cheese is melted in, and I think it's just about the right consistency. I could do it a little bit thicker to help it cling to the noodles a little bit more, but I think she's gonna be good right there. So I would say, if you are making this, do maybe 16 ounces, if you have a 16-ounce container of heavy whipping cream, and maybe a full container of the shredded Parmesan cheese. This is a 5 ounce, and that would probably be the perfect amount. I really don't wanna open this one, I wanna save it. So we're just gonna eat it like this. And since it's about ready and the noodles are about ready, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a little bit of salt to the Alfredo. And I have corn, canned corn in the microwave, just as a little side dish veggie for dinner, something quick and easy, right? And if it were just me eating it, I would pinch off a few basil leaves and parsley and put that in here. But if I put that green stuff in this, my kids would be like, that is not good. Why did you do that, Mom? So I'm just keeping it simple and kid-friendly tonight. Not trying to win any kind of magazine cover award with them. That chicken cooked like that, for some reason, is so tender and so juicy. I don't know what it is, but it's every single time. It has an amazing flavor. Okay, if you are still waiting on your noodles, like I am, and your Alfredo starts to thicken quite a bit, just slow down the cooking process, turn it down to simmer, and that way you can just let it hang tight while your noodles finish. It's almost ready. Alfredo and chicken bites. It's the kind you like, the plain. Well, it's homemade, but I didn't put the bacon in. Good. Okay, so the noodles are fully cooked. I'm gonna go to the sink and drain these really quick. Now, if you notice, I didn't put salt in my noodles. Normally I do, but I put the salt in the Alfredo and I put quite a bit. So it doesn't really need it, the noodles don't. So what you could do, put the noodles on and then drip the sauce over it if you want, but I am just gonna go for it and pour it right in. So I did probably a half a box of the 16-ounce box of the penne noodles, and that turned out perfect. It was a perfect amount. Okay, so dinner is ready. And since it's the boys and they don't really like to combine their food that well, I'm just gonna put them some in a plate here. And then I'm also going to grab them some chicken and put it on the side. I, however, would put the chicken right on top. And then I'm gonna leave room for their corn too. Now you could make some garlic cheese toast, frozen garlic bread if you want, but that's their dinner. Very quick and easy, and it's a kid favorite, it's a husband favorite, and I like it because it tastes good and it is easy. So that's it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment. Let me know, send me a message, whatever's easiest, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.